Every one of us have either been on guilt trips or sent people on guilt trips. My hope is that you have grown and developed beyond the need to send people on them, because that is really an indicator of some voids. Guilt trips are what people use when they don't have any other tools. And unless you start to recognize that, you will live your life on roller coasters. And there are many families that is all they know to use, or it's one of their huge tools to get you to do what they want you to do. So it happens in families, it happens in every kind of relationship, and unless you get a grip on what it is, then you will continue to live your life on a roller coaster. I've experienced it, and I refuse to allow guilt trips in my life. Guilt has a place, but it is not for external uses. It's not for people on the outside to try and force you into doing anything. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about you, and we're going to talk about them. You ready? I am. Hi, I'm Sarah Green, and what I do over here is return you back to yourself, help you to understand what it is that distinguishes you from everybody else, so that you can use those things to rise above all the conditioning, the social conditioning, and all the ways that everybody else has tried to make you what they needed you to be for their own purpose. I'm returning you back to you so you can start to live according to your design, not other people's desires. If that all sounds good to you, then I invite you to subscribe, like, comment, share, and really comment. Share with me how this hits you. Share with me what else you need. What further things do you need? Okay? Also, you will find in the description a few things. One is, if you find yourself in a tight spot and you need to understand who you are and how to get out of it and where the conditioning lies, then order a clarifying session with me. You'll find the link below. I've also provided for you a way to really start to dig into the conditioning, and it's free. It's a masterclass. You'll find that below. Also, if you are a woman who gives too much, like most women, because we've been conditioned to, then I have a course. Not just a course where you just kind of work through it. No, I work with you. And if it's not open, then you'll find the waiting list in the description below, or you can go ahead and sign up for it now. But go ahead and get on the waiting list so you don't miss it. All right? Let's get started. Now, I like definitions, so let's go ahead and start with that. I did a video where I talked about guilt and shame and fear. And so I suggest that you go and look at that one too. It's entirely different from this one, but it certainly will show you how those things work against you, okay? So let's get to the definition of a guilt trip. It is to cause another person to feel a sense of responsibility to change a behavior or to take a specific action. This is somebody else trying to manipulate you to do something that they want for their benefit, something that is going to make them feel better about them. Anytime anybody is trying to convince you to do something and it's going against what you want, you have to learn how to put some space between you and them. Everybody does not have your best interest at heart. If you are a minor child and this is your parent, you may have to listen to what your parent is saying. But if not, keep listening. Now, guilt itself is rarely a good emotion. There's a difference in being guilty of something and you recognize, hey, listen, I did it. You can own it, take responsibility for it, and keep on moving. But being guilted by others is for their purpose. If you have done something, you acknowledge it, you can then release that thing. You no longer have to carry it. You can release it because we came here to learn and grow. And if you did something you recognize you could have done it better, or it brought some harm to others, or it set you back, or whatever. If you can own it, you can release it. Okay? But when people try to guilt you and you are guilted, it is often for their benefit and If you don't do what they want, they will often punish you. And yes, adults can be punished too. Grown people are punishing each other all the time. There are a lot of families that is the tool. It's one of my family's tools. Now let's look at who use the tool of guilt. One of two. One is deliberate, a deliberate manipulator. I'll get to them in a moment. Let's talk about the person who uses guilt trips because it really is the only tool they have. Unfortunately, most people never get on a personal development path. So when they are hurt, when they don't know what else to do, when they are in turmoil and they don't have any other tools of being able to deal with their own hurts or to process their own pain, they will often guilt trip you into whatever it is they need that will give them some form of alleviation, to stop the pain, to stop them from hurting. They will guilt you because if you will do what they want you to do, whether it is for them or on the behalf of another, then to them, that is how you demonstrate you care for them. They have no other tools. Does that make it your business? No, it does not. We all need to be on a personal development path. And this is what I'm leading to. Because here's what happens for that person who never grows up. It might start off when y'all are 14 and 16 and 18. Actually, it starts a lot sooner. But at that age, then you're kind of like, all right, there's still some room for them to grow. But listen, y'all, there are 50, 60, 70, 80-year-old people who are still using those tools because they have failed to get on a personal development path and to grow. So they are still trying to force other people to do what they want them to do so that they can feel better. Guess what they become? Oh, honey, anything that is practiced, you just get better at it. They become master manipulators. Okay? So if you find yourself in the space of dealing with a master manipulator, at some point you have to develop the tools to be able to deal with them, to be able to handle them, to be able to do what you need to do for you rather than staying entangled with and enmeshed with, because when it comes to family, baby, that's an enmeshment. And if they are still trying to force their wills on you, they really ain't got this thing. And at some point, you're going to have to start making some decisions about them. Because just like they can't make you do anything, even though in the guilt tripping they are trying to, but they can't make you do anything, which means you have to develop beyond that. That is the next point. So let's ask the question, why do they use the tools? Well, because they work. They work on you. Now, what does that mean? It means that there's still somewhere inside of you that those tools can land, that you are susceptible to those tools. You have to develop and grow and understand people and their intentions, people and why they do what they do. You have to understand temperaments, archetypes, manipulation tactics, and then go deeper than that. Understand environmental influences that make you susceptible to their tools. My family has always used guilt. Personal development is not something that is a priority for them. It's what I came here for. Hell, I've been teaching personal development my whole adult life. Teaching communications, leadership, interpersonal skills. I was first a student. I am still a student. I am a student of life. I am constantly changing and embracing the challenges that life presents me so that I can do better, be better, and to never ever do to other people some of the things that my family does. Yet, they continue. Things persist. Oh, the guilt trips, they try, but there is nowhere else for them to land. The enmeshment that is my family is no longer me. I'm not a part of it. I've removed myself. I've untangled myself. It took many, many years. Now, the guilt trips don't work. It doesn't mean they haven't tried. So you know how I respond to them now. Silence is golden. I don't respond because there's no good way. There's no right way. There's nothing that is going to penetrate them because they are only susceptible to what they're susceptible to. And because I don't match energies anymore, for me, it's just easier to remain silent. When the guilt trips come because I won't have conversations, it comes in texts, and I just don't answer. So there will be stages that you'll have to go through. Of course, try everything you can to keep relationships close if you can in family. But if it's just not possible, and contrary to what many people will tell you, family is not everything. You are everything. And if who you are and how you develop is being challenged by the guilt trips and their levels of manipulation, you have got to say yes to you at some point. Yes, try everything, and I did for many, many years. I tried everything. Tried just putting the space between. Tried not to have certain conversations. Tried to have different conversations to try and give them some of what I knew and some of what I developed. But you can't give people what they don't want. You grow for you. You learn what you learn for your own development. And if the people around you want it, share it. If they don't, you can't force it. In the same way, when you recognize that you've hit an impasse, then you've got to always choose you. That's your work. It doesn't matter who it is. You have to choose you. If you don't, then you have committed to a life of misery. And many people have. Now here's the ultimate goal of a guilt tripper. Those who won't grow become master manipulators. And if they continue to send you on these guilt trips, guess what happens? You repeatedly betray yourself. And I'm telling you, there is no greater grievance to me than betraying yourself. In order to get you to do what they want you to do, you have to betray your own thoughts, your own feelings, and your own actions. The things that you would ordinarily do or that you want to do, you end up doing what they want you to do. And you never ever get to true you. You never really expand. You are betraying yourself by giving into other people's guilt trips, by going on the rides. You can decline the ride. It's in your best interest to learn how to stop going on the rides. They are masters of making you feel bad, making you feel guilty for establishing standards for your own life, for your own treatment. Because when you set the standards, establish some standards for your life, then it also automatically has some boundaries built in. You don't have to keep fighting them. You set your standards and the boundaries will put the distance between you. Set self-loving standards. Now here's another hard pill to swallow. When the guilt trips keep working, you have to own your responsibility in that too. Because we are always teaching people how to treat us. And you teach people how to treat you when you tolerate mistreatment of self. Because protesting alone changes nothing. Just because you keep telling them, I don't like it when you do that, and you need to stop doing that, and you always doing this, and you blah, 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 blah. That changes nothing. The only thing that's going to change those kinds of situations is you changing. So, stop allowing others to guilt trip you, because every time you do, you dishonor yourself. Dishonoring yourself is also betraying yourself. And if you will betray you, then you're actually saying, universe, it's okay for everybody else to love you more, is what I'm saying. And if you found yourself in a tight spot and not really sure how to maneuver out of it, then I can help you with that. You'll find a link below. All right. It's your life. Choose it just as it is. Own it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Change it. As long as you can breathe and learn, it can get better. from Medellin, Colombia. Bye for now.